Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our regular weekly briefing. We have some great things on the docket for today. We'll receive our regular update from Public Health, and then we're hearing about the Winter is Alive project from the Madison Arts Commission, and we'll hear about some of the things that are happening at our senior center, or I should say through our senior center, for Black History Month. So we'll start today with Janelle Heinrich, who's the Director of Public Health Madison Dane County, for our regular update.
Good morning. Last Friday, February 5th, was the one-year mark from when we announced the first case of COVID in Dane County. Since then, there have been 39,049 individuals diagnosed with COVID-19 in Dane County. Today, our 14-day average is 113.4 cases per day, which is down from 118.6 last week. Hospitalizations have stabilized but remain high, and there are 56 individuals hospitalized with COVID in our Dane County hospitals and 17 in the ICU. I want to remind folks that while we move through a phased reopening, all activities still have some risk while COVID continues to circulate widely in our community. Limiting opportunities for people to be in crowded, confined spaces remains an important public health strategy, especially until more of the population is vaccinated. It is safest to limit your contact with people you don't live with. Wear a mask when you are with people you don't live with. Recently, the CDC issued new guidance about ways to increase the effectiveness of your mask by ensuring it fits well. Strategies include wearing a mask with a nose wire, using a mask fitter or a brace, wearing a cloth mask over a disposable mask, and using the knot and tuck method. Examples and pictures are all available on the CDC website, and they are linked on our website at publichealthmdc.com/coronavirus/masks. We also continue to ask you to maintain 6 feet of distance from people you don't live with. Spend time outdoors where the virus can more easily disperse in open air, and limit the activities you engage in on a daily or weekly basis. Keep in mind that these strategies are additive, meaning that the more of the strategies you follow, the better you are protecting yourself and your loved ones. For example, maybe you decide to go to the gym every day. This might mean that you scale back on other activities, such as in-person dining at a restaurant or attending a social gathering with people outside your household. Think about the activities that are essential for you and your family, and avoid risk with activities that are less critical. And a quick update on vaccination. Vaccinators across the state are currently immunizing our frontline healthcare workers, fire and police personnel, EMS staff, and people who are 65 years and older. Visit our website, publichealthmdc.com, for more information on groups eligible and next steps to take if you are eligible. As of February 9th, 71,854 people in Dane County have received at least 1 dose of vaccine. This amounts to 13.1% of our total population. 26,946 individuals have received both doses, which is 4.9% of our population. Combined, this means that almost 100,000 doses of vaccine have been administered in Dane County in just shy of 2 months. We will share more vaccination details in our data snapshot, which we will release this afternoon. As we have since the beginning, we will continue to make the data available about the variables that inform our understanding of the status of this pandemic in Dane County. As more people become vaccinated and the conditions continue to improve, the more we'll be able to return to our new normal. Thank you, and stay well.
Thank you, Janelle. Next, we're going to hear from Bethany Yurovich, who is the chair of our Madison Art Commission, to share more about the Winter is Alive project.
Good morning. Winter is Alive opens this Friday, February 12th, and will run at various sites throughout Madison until March 7th. It is presented by City of Madison's Art Commission, as well as Garver Events and Sustain Dane. More information is available at wintersalive.org. The festival is a multifaceted event geared towards inspiring action to combat climate change and instigate reflection to reconsider the human relationship with the environment. Through an open call and curation process, the digital and analog exhibition has brought together artists, thinkers, makers, and organizers from across the globe. There are many ways to experience Winter is Alive. Perhaps one of the safest and easiest ways to do so is to visit one of the many citywide sites anytime throughout the festival. On wintersalive.org, you will find an interactive map directing you to a variety of sites, which include city parks, Madison Area School District schools, the lakes themselves, and partner organizations such as the UW Arboretum and Garver Feed Mill. You could also view one of the many live stream events from the comfort of your home. Links can be found at wintersalive.org. There are approximately 9 live streamed events that you could partake in over the course of the carnival. If you don't catch one of the streamed events live, you can view an archive of the streamed event or view them on the exterior of Garver Feed Mill after the event has been live streamed. So all events will be available throughout the duration of the event, but also after the event has ended. You can also check out a real-time limited capacity performance. There are only about 4 or 5 of them happening. They are all outdoors, and they primarily take place on the first 2 Saturdays of the festival. There has been a lot of community engagement from partner organizations to make this event possible, including Dane Arts, the UW Arboretum, Wisconsin Film Festival, Clean Lakes Alliance, Olbrecht Gardens, Madison Parks Foundation, Wisconsin Saltwise, the Madison School District, Business Improvement District, UW Sculpture Program, and private donors. Whether it's sponsorship, time, or space, it has taken a huge team of people to make the event possible. So we are definitely thankful for all of the participation. One of the ways that the community could get involved is through a scavenger hunt, which is taking place at over 50 businesses throughout Madison. It is the We Are Seeds scavenger hunt, and you could find out more about that at visitdowntownmadison.com, as it is in part orchestrated by Madison's Business Improvement District. Additionally, you could take a pledge for your actions in helping to combat climate change at www.smeartactics.com, where your pledge will be written on a strip of fabric and tied to a sculpture located at East High School. You will dedicate that pledge to future generations or loved ones, and these fabric pieces will represent tentacles of the sculpture that helps sustain the movement of the creature and move things forward in climate change. You could take action items or explore action items at home by visiting mydailyimpact.com. You could join in and contribute to a live share on February 16th, and you could contribute to helping fund the artists and programs at bit.ly/fund Winter is Alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Bethany. It sounds like a great event. I'm excited to get out and see some of the sculptures around town this weekend. And I hope that everybody will join me in both appreciating the art and the artists, but also reflecting on the problem of climate change and what we can do both in our individual lives and collectively as a community to combat it. Next, we're going to hear from Laura Hunt from the Madison Senior Center to talk about Black History Month.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here today to talk about our newest program, Voices of Color. It's a new program we're launching this month. It's a program to highlight the lives and experiences of Black, Indigenous people of color. Our intention is to stimulate dialogue and encourage listening. The program will resemble a talk show with a host and 1 to 2 guests. We're starting out this program as a virtual program, but we're hoping to continue it at our center when we're able to gather again. Our center is located at 330 West Mifflin Street, and our web address is madisonseniorcenter.org. Black History Month seems like the perfect time to kick off Voices of Color. It is important to us at the Senior Center that we increase our reach and do a better job at serving African American older adults in Madison. We will be looking for older adults who want to tell their story, so contact me if you are interested. We know that based on Madison's population, it may look like we are serving a proportionate number of people of color. 5.6% of the people served by the Madison Senior Center in 2019 were African American, and only 3.8% of Madison's population age 60 plus are African American. However, the goal is to reach a much larger share given the inequities faced in our community. In Madison, 6.5% of individuals 60 plus are at risk of living at 100% of the poverty line. That number is 3 times nationally for African Americans. In a racist society, it is not enough to be non-racist, we must be anti-racist. That quote is from Angela Davis. At the Madison Senior Center, we have a responsibility to educate ourselves and our participants about racism and what it means to be anti-racist. For most people, anti-racist is a new term. Research shows that there is more prejudice among older adults, but you might be surprised to know that it isn't just because they grew up in a different time period. As we grow older, we often become less secure about change in people who are different from us. At the Madison Senior Center, one of the things that we can do is provide a safe environment to educate people about people who are different than them. This program, Voices of Color, was developed with input from African American volunteers. The 2021 theme for Black History Month is the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity. Our first guest for Voices of Color will be Elder Sherry Carter. Elder Carter is a native Madisonian and has grown up in our great city. She will talk about her family and her family's history. And the facilitator, our host for the day, will be Elnisa Allgood. Elnisa is on the Committee on Aging and has worked closely with us in the development of this program. The program will be held via Zoom on Thursday, February 18th at 10 o'clock a.m. And then thereafter, the program will be on the third Thursday at 10 a.m. of each month. I'm also happy to share that Dr. Gloria Hawkins has agreed to be our guest in March, on March 18th. Dr. Hawkins recently retired from the UW-Madison, where she was Assistant Vice Provost in the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Educational Achievement. We are kicking this program off with a focus on African Americans, but our goal is to create a platform for all Black, Indigenous people of color who have a story to tell. So once again, if you or someone you know would like to participate, to tell your story, or to be a host and help us out with the program, please contact us and let us know. Here's the information to register for the program via Zoom, or you could call the Senior Center at 608-266-6581, Or if you have any other questions, you could direct them to me, Laura Hunt. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. That looks like a great program. I'm really glad that the Senior Center is leaning in to equity and to learning about our communities of color here in Madison. And I do encourage you, if you do want to share your story and your perspective on Madison's history or being a senior of color here in Madison, to contact the Senior Center. And you should just contact them anyway, because they have a variety of great programs, and they've really tried hard through this pandemic to transition to supporting our senior community, even though they're not able to be in person at the actual Senior Center. I have a number of things today as well that we'll go through and then get to questions, but I want to start by wishing a Happy New Year to those in our Chinese and Tibetan communities who are celebrating the new year, the Year of the Ox, tomorrow. So, Gong Xi Fa Chai and Tashi Dalek to everyone who is celebrating. As we just heard, February is Black History Month in the city of Madison, and we're proud to celebrate. We, myself and the entire Common Council at our last meeting, passed a resolution declaring February 2021 as Black History Month in the city of Madison. And I just want to read the last resolve clause, which says, be it further resolved that the city encourages the celebration of this month by inviting all residents in the city to learn more about African American family history, to better understand the experience of African Americans and how they have shaped our nation. So certainly the programming at the Senior Center is a great way to do that. You can also check out programming via our fantastic libraries. They have a compilation of events, and they have reading lists if you're looking for something to read. Our Department of Civil Rights is also featuring different aspects of African American history on their Facebook page. So I encourage you to check that out as well. All right, as you can see from my mask, it is time to vote again. We have a spring primary on February 16th. The deadline to register in person at the clerk's office is February 12th at 5 p.m. That's tomorrow. And if you are voting absentee, if you've gotten your ballot, please return your completed ballot via one of the following methods. You can drop it in a secure drop box closest to you by February 15th. So those drop boxes are at every fire station except one and at Elver Park. You can return it by mail to the city clerk's office. You can drop it off in person at the city clerk's office or at an in-person absentee voting site, or you can drop it off at your polling place on Election Day. The deadline to return absentee ballots is February 16th at 8 p.m. We do have in-person absentee voting taking place at a number of sites around the city. I just walked by the site here at the City County building this morning, and they could use some company over there. So if you have a moment and want to get your voting out of the way, you can go to one of our absentee in-person sites, and you can find that information on the City of Madison Clerk's Office website, citymadison.com/clerk. You can also, of course, vote in person on February 16th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and you can register to vote on Election Day at your polling place. And for more information on your polling place, you can visit myvote.wi.gov and see the links there. You can also ask our amazing city clerk's office questions about the election, how to vote, where to vote, when to vote by calling 608-266-4601 or email voting@cityofmadison.com, or again, check their website, citymadison.com/clerk. Please do vote. All right. I did want to just note, Janelle gave us some great information, but I also wanted to note that if you're interested in getting information about case numbers and more on the coronavirus, the Public Health has a fantastic dashboard, which they have recently updated. It's mobile friendly, and I am just pulling it up now. You're not going to be able to see, but it's right there on your phone, very easy to get to. So it's publichealthmdc.com/coronavirus/dashboard. And it now contains vaccine-related data. So you can go right there and see, so today we're at 13.1% of Dane County residents have gotten the vaccine. Easy to stay updated on a number of things, so I encourage you to check that out. Again, publichealthmdc.com/coronavirus/dashboard. You may have noticed that it is a little cold outside, and the city has been working very hard to make sure that we are supporting our unsheltered neighbors through this cold snap, which is going on more days than I might like, and certainly is far too cold for people to be outside for any length of time. Over the past several months, city and county staff and the homeless outreach teams that we fund and many grassroots organizations have been really working closely with people in our community who are experiencing homelessness and are unsheltered. We convene weekly meetings of the involved partners and agencies, and I have to say the results have been pretty encouraging. We have reduced the number of unsheltered homeless folks by more than half since September. Many of them have been supported into our new shelter facilities or at local hotels. Others have gained access to housing or moved into the OM2 village, the tiny house village, which is a really great addition to our community. So the cold weather has just brought more urgency to this work, and we've really intensified our outreach to make sure that people who are outside are getting shelter inside someplace. And so I just want to go over a few resources for anybody who might be in need of them or know anyone who is in need of them. To start with, we have converted our former Fleet facility at 200 North First Street to a temporary men's shelter, and we've more than doubled the number of men that can be safely sheltered there. The facility is currently operating at about half of their capacity, so there's plenty of room. It's operated by Porchlight. It opens at 5 p.m. each night, provides dinner and breakfast to guests. There is free bus transportation available from the Beacon Day Resource Center, which is at 615 East Washington. Those buses start at 4:45 p.m., and the bus rides are available whether or not you use the Beacon. There's also free on-site guest parking, and anyone with questions about the First Street Men's Shelter should call 608-416-1446. We also have a single women's shelter at the Salvation Army at 630 East Washington Ave. Their intake hours are typically between 4:15 and 5 p.m., but during this extreme cold, you can show up at any time and can remain at the facility throughout the day. If you have questions about the Salvation Army shelter, please call 608-250-2220. Families with children have a number of options. The Salvation Army is operating an overflow day warming center at 630 East Washington Ave for families. Any family, including a child under age 18 or over if you're still enrolled in high school, can come between 9 and 5 p.m. And they will get lunch and dinner. You will be asked, of course, to wear a mask and to complete a COVID-19 screen. Again, questions about the Salvation Army, 608-250-2200. They also can connect you with a night shelter for families, and so same information there to get more information about a night shelter for families. Families that are in need of shelter can also reach out to the Sankofa Educational Leadership United at 608-618-9977 to access their services. And then I did also mention the Beacon, which of course is operated by Catholic Charities and available during the day, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., but typically will open a little bit earlier in the extreme cold weather. And we continue to work on a permanent shelter, a permanent men's shelter. for unsheltered men, and we have recently are working on acquiring a location on Zier Road for that shelter, and expect to be able to announce more details about that and about further shelter solutions for families and single women yet this year. So I know folks are very much concerned about our homeless community, and I very appreciate how compassionate Madison is as a community. So I want you all to have this information. If you are aware of someone who's sleeping outside or in vehicles and you're not sure if they're connected to outreach services, you can bring that to our attention by emailing Sarah Lim at slim@cityofmadison.com, and she will connect folks to the correct resources. Also in cold weather news, which is continued throughout the remainder of the week, I want folks to make sure that you are thinking about your water pipes in your home or business. You want to make sure that you're taking care of pipes so they don't freeze and burst. Make sure your basement is properly insulated. Check for areas where cold air might be coming in. Insulate pipes in unheated areas like crawl spaces or garages or attics. Leave some heat on in unused areas of your home to make sure that your pipes don't freeze. And if you are leaving home for a few days, make sure you keep your thermostat on at least 55 degrees and open the cabinets where sink plumbing is against an outside wall. You really do not want your pipes to freeze and burst. That can be a total nightmare. You want to make sure you know where your master shutoff valve is that turns off the water to your entire home in the case you do get a burst pipe and need to deal with it. Don't try to thaw a frozen pipe with an open flame. That's like frying pan into the fire, right? Literally. And make sure that you change the batteries in your thermostat once a year so it keeps functioning. Also, a request. We haven't gotten snow in a little bit, but there's plenty on the ground. We want to make sure that if there should be a fire, the fire department can access each and every one of the over 9,000 fire hydrants in the city of Madison. So please take a moment to clear snow away from any fire hydrants that are near your home so they can be easily accessed. And then in the good news portion of today's briefing, you may have seen that President Joe Biden announced last month that the federal government's fleets of all types will transition towards 100% electric vehicles in the coming years. In Madison, we started this transition of converting every possible vehicle to an electric vehicle in 2018. So we're really glad to see the federal government joining us in that effort. And helping to move the general automotive market in the United States. As of today, the city of Madison runs the largest EV fleet in Wisconsin, but we are absolutely welcoming competition in that area from other cities. We have a variety of 59 different EVs ranging from sedans, a minivan, forklifts, off-road turf vehicles, and metro buses. These EVs are spread out across different city agencies. We also operate over 20 charging stations, 6 of which are completely powered by solar panels, which is the cleanest way to power up your EV. So we are aggressively working with MG&E, our fleet department, and other agencies to get electric, medium, and heavy-duty trucks and charging stations for those for the first time ever this year. So if you're interested in the work that our fleet department is doing, I encourage you to visit their website and to check out EVs for your own use as well. Obviously, they have zero emissions from the vehicle, and they have high performance. And the cost to power an EV is only a fraction of the price, about a quarter of fueling diesel or gas vehicles. And also, did I mention they're fun? So check out the EVs that we've got and consider one for yourself. Finally, I will end with our normal community resources and our upcoming meetings. So we talked a lot about housing resources already, but if you are homeless or in danger of losing your housing, you can call our housing helpline at 608-264-0549, or email housinginfo@cityofmadison.com. If you need help connecting to internet or phone services, you can call the State Public Service Commission at 608-267-3595. If you need help finding a child care provider, you can call 608-216-7022. For all of these issues and more, including emergency food options, you can call United Way of Dane County at 211 or text your zip code to 898-211. Finally, the City of Madison does offer a free financial resource hotline to help residents navigate financial issues related to the COVID-19 pandemic. For more information about that, you can see cityofmadison.com/financial hotline or call 608-315-5151. All of these resources and more are posted on our website at cityofmadison.com. Click on the community resources link and you'll get updated information there. Upcoming meetings this next week. Today at 3, the Sustainable Madison Committee's Sustainability Plan Update Working Group will meet. At 4:30, the Community Development Authority Board meets. At 5 p.m., the Digital Technology Committee. Also at 5 p.m., the Equal Opportunities Commission. On Friday the 12th at 1 p.m., the TIF Review Board will meet. On Monday the 15th at 9 a.m., the Landmarks Commission will meet. And at Wednesday the 17th at 4 p.m., the Room Tax Commission meets. And at 5:30 p.m., the Alcohol License Review Committee will meet. And that is what I have for the day. So let's see if we have questions.
Good morning, Mayor. Indeed, we have some questions for our Public Health Director.
All right. Janelle?
Good morning, Janelle.
Good morning.
Our first question for you is, health providers in our area are saying they aren't getting enough doses of the vaccine from DHS. Is this something public health is dealing with? What are your thoughts on it?
Sure, yes. We are all able and have the capacity to administer far more doses on a weekly basis than what we're receiving. This week, Public Health Madison Dane County only received maybe a little bit more than a third of what we requested. And I think our healthcare providers are experiencing the same thing. Earlier this week, if my memory serves me correctly, the state indicated that statewide, 290,000 doses were requested to administer, and only 90,000 and change were available. I think we're in a place where we all are very excited. The demand is high, and unfortunately, our supply is not meeting that demand right now.
The next question, I'm guessing is mostly for the mayor, but you can speak into it if you want. When will the city begin considering resuming more in-person staff work and operations?
Would you like to answer that?
Okay, the mayor will take that.
Thank you, Janelle. I do want to say on the question of vaccines that this is obviously a big problem. It's a problem everywhere across the country. And I know that the federal administration is working hard to increase the supply. And we are continuing to advocate at both the state and federal level to increase our supply of vaccines locally. We know that we've got lots of people who want to get vaccinated, which is fantastic. And we are working hard to get that supply again here in Madison and Dane County so that we can meet that demand and hopefully move that percentage much higher throughout our community and be able to start opening things up a little bit more. To the question of opening things up at the city, I want to acknowledge that we have a very actually significant percentage of city workers that never stopped providing service directly to the community and working in person. Whether that's our fire department, our police department, our Metro Transit service, building inspection, folks in the clerk's office, they have been providing direct service to the public really throughout this entire pandemic, and I'm incredibly grateful for the work that they've done. We also have a number of staff that have sort of a mixed approach. So, for example, our libraries are doing a great job of offering curbside pickup and continuing to offer access to computers for folks who make appointments, and that does involve also some in-person direct contact with the public. So again, really grateful for all of the creative ways in which city staff have been able to continue delivering services to our residents throughout this entire pandemic. In terms of bringing folks back on a more regular basis and opening up some of the in-person services that we had closed, we're certainly not looking at anything before the second quarter of this year. And I think that our approach will depend heavily on the percent vaccination in the community and on our ability to be ready in terms of both our physical spaces and our work routines to make sure that everybody can be comfortable coming back into close proximity with each other and with the public, and that we have the appropriate protections and supports in place to make that happen. But I do just, again, want to recognize that for many city workers, they have been working directly with the public every day throughout this entire thing, and that I am very grateful to them, and I hope our entire community is as well.
Thank you, Mayor. Those are the questions for today.
All right, thank you very much. Happy New Year again to those that are celebrating, and we will see you next week.